Welcome to this week's Torah lesson. This week's Torah portion is Parsha Emor. The question of the week is, why do we need unity to make us feel complete? So in this week's Torah portion, Parsha Emor, the Torah portion begins and says, Hashem speaks to Moshe Rabbeinu and he tells him, Emor elai kahanim, to speak to the kohanim, the priests, the sons of Aaron, v'amarta aleihem, and again another expression of Emor, and tell them about the laws of purity and impurity. Rashi says, Emor v'amarta. Why does the Torah tell us twice the same word, Emor, in the first verse of the Torah portion this week? So Rashi says, the reason why it says twice Emor to tell is because we're dealing with the laws of purity and impurity. So lahazir gdoilim alaktanim, it says twice that the adults should instruct the younger children. Basically education. So the Rebbe asked a simple question. If it's about the idea to educate our children, we need to be instructed by God to educate our children all the way back in Exodus, right after giving the Torah. We finished the whole books about Exodus. We're already in the middle of the book of Leviticus. Now you're telling us about education? Why now? And if it's about education, why is it specifically only to the sons of Aaron? Why isn't it not to all the Jewish people? So therefore the Rebbe says, it's obvious that when it comes to education, that's basics. And we even know before the Torah was given, the Torah tells us that Abraham, God said the reason why he likes him because he's going to educate his children. Education, that's something which is standard by the Jewish people. Over here, the Rebbe says it's something totally different. Over here, we're dealing with lahazir. What means lahazir? Lahazir means that it should be radiant. You should be giving off light. When is a person giving off light and radiance? When you're inspired not just in education in text base, but you're inspired to live what you're studying. You're glowing, you're on fire, you're excited, you're passionate. So over here the Torah is instructing the Jewish people through Aaron that lahazir, we should be inspired to do that. And that's why it says specifically in this week's Torah portion, after already we went through the book of Exodus and Leviticus, we're holding on a very, very high level. Now we're ready to receive the inspiration that whatever we should do, we should be inspired to do so. A, we ourselves should be inspired, we should be glowing, and B, we should be inspiring our children. Now, why specifically is this instruction to the Kohanim, the priest? And the Rebbe explains very simple. Because we know when you came to the temple, you brought a sacrifice. And the Torah tells us, Adam mikem ki yakriv korban l'Hashem. The job of the priest was to inspire us that when we're bringing a sacrifice, it's not just with doing an act. You have to bring a sacrifice, a functional activity. But you should know that you should be bringing yourself as a sacrifice to God. You have to be excited and motivated and connected to the sacrifice. And that is the job of the priest, to inspire us that we should live in a very, very, very passionate way. A, for ourselves, and B, for our children, our students. And the Rebbe goes in a step further and he says, if you look into this week's Torah portion, Emor, so Emor is Aleph Mem Reish. Amarta is Aleph Mem Reish, the same word, but added a Saf. Why the two? Why did it change from Emor to Amarta? And the Rebbe explains as follows. Emor stands for Eish, Mayim, Ruach, which are the three elements. The three elements that the world was created on: fire, water, and air. Spiritually, that resembles debate in Kabbalah, either Chachma, Bina, and the Midot, which is wisdom, intellect, and the emotions, or it's referring to Chesed, Gvur, Tiferes, the basket of the Midot. In other words, Emor is referring to us as a human being, that we should be inspired to connect to God with our intellect or our emotions, or with our full set of emotions. That's Emor, with reference to our spiritual three elements. But then there's Amarta. What's the Amarta added? That's the Saf at the end. The Saf is the last letter of the alphabet, and that's referring to Malchut. Malchut is when you're a leader and you're inspiring other people. So the first Emor is to instruct us we should live passionately. The Amarta is to instruct us the passion that we have, we should share with other people. And the Rebbe connects this also with the Pirkei Avot that we're learning this Shabbat. So with the fourth chapter, which is interesting, it's four. And there's the three elements, which is for us, and the fourth that we teach others. So how does the fourth chapter Pirkei Avot begin? It speaks about four different people that we have to learn from. Ezau Chacham, it speaks about a Chacham, a wise person, and then it speaks about a strong person, and then it speaks about a rich person, and then it speaks about someone that's honored. So the Rebbe says, if you look, it's brilliant. A Chacham, a wise person, is referring to your own attribute of understanding, wisdom, intellect. A Gibor is your strength. Asher is your wealth. All things where it's describing the person himself. Mechubad, being honored, you're honored by creating honor in other people. People respect you, which is basically the same idea of Emor, which is referring to your powers, and Amarta, which is referring to the way you affect relationship with other people. And Rebbe also brings another Mishnah in this week's Pirkei Avot, where Reb Shimon says, and he says, there are 3 crowns. And then he goes to list, what are the 3 crowns? Kesed Torah, the crown of Torah, crown of priesthood, and the crown of Malchut. So seemingly it should stop there. But then it says, V'kesed Shem Tov Oilal Gabeim. The crown of a good name goes above it all. So Rabbi asks, is it 3 or is it 4? If it's 4, why does it say only 3? And the answer to Rebbe says also again, there are 3 crowns. That's our personal crowns. When we study Torah, or if somebody is a priest and they have the crown of priesthood, or if someone is a leader of Malchus, those are personal achievements. Kesed Shem Tov is that's when you affect change in somebody else. When you inspire somebody else, then you receive that. So in other words, you see from all these 3 cases of Emor Ve'amarta, where you have 3 of your own qualities. Ve'amarta is when you inspire other people. Or in the 2 examples in Pirkei Avot, that there's our own growth, and then there's the transformation of other people. And that's when you become a complete human being. When do you become a complete human being? Not only when you're inspired and you're connected to God on all 3 levels of yourself, but more importantly, that completes the picture is when you're able to and you inspire other people. So to answer the question, why is unity needed to make us a complete human being? Because if we just work on ourselves and we become great people, we study and we connect to God, but we don't connect with other people, we don't share the inspiration with other people, we're missing a full component of Malchus, which is needed to make us a complete human being. Thanks so much for joining us for our weekly Torah lesson. This week's Torah lesson is dedicated to the memory of Baruch ben Ari Leib, Shlomo ben Yosef, and Rachel Baslipa. May their souls be elevated by the Torah we are studying in their memory. Thanks again for joining us for our weekly Torah lesson. For more information, please see our website, chabadswf.org. And let's hope and pray that the whole world is unified, because we know the greatest blessings come to the Jewish people when there's true achdut and true unity.